Boosie Badazz, and I agree with him, man. He said something recently that I totally agree with, and I talk about this frequently. The best example of this is William Roberts, a.k.a. Rick Ross, and Tekashi 6ix9ine. But what is he talking about? Boosie Badazz has said that he doesn't believe he'd be as big as he is now if he didn't make his debut when he did. The Wipe Me Down rapper stopped by Cam Newton's podcast, Fourth and One, for an interview that premiered on Sunday, February 11th. There, he said that hip-hop world's love for him is at least in part because he started his career at a time that prized authenticity. I agree with that. I think earlier they actually appreciated authentic rappers more. Now anything flies. Like I just said, William Roberts, a.k.a. Rick Ross, took somebody's whole identity, made a career out of it. Nobody questioned it. People fuck with the music. They fuck with him, period. Tekashi 6ix9ine. Snitched, blah, blah, blah. You could say he's blackballed, but people are still fucking with it. But they allowed somebody to get in hip-hop that moves like that. Lots of examples, man. I know people are going to throw, what about Ice Cube? But at least Ice Cube admitted that he wasn't a gangster, off the top. A lot of these people in today's time, they put this fabrication of fakeness, and then later on they say, yeah, I really wasn't that, or they won't even admit it. They'll still think they're the hardest, toughest shit out there and whatever. Let's play the clip. Let's see what Boosie exactly had to say word for word.
Had you came out now, what would you have leaned on more than just the normal buzz coming out when you first came out?
I feel if I came out now, I wouldn't be as big as I am now because the real is not too real anymore.
The real is not celebrated.
It's not celebrated. It's not acknowledged. I came out at a time when it was everything to be real,
and to prove why you was
and
real.
to prove why you was real, and people looked up to that. When your life story matched your lyrics, when you was, it's just a different era. It's not based on talent like it is, and I dropped the album today, and each one of my albums, bro.
Congratulations, man.
I don't have a song that does this and the rest of the album streaming do this. And that comes from my fans forever listening to my whole projects.
Yeah.
Now we just like singles.
Yeah.
We don't put the album in and listen to the whole album anymore. We just listen to the first couple songs. So I feel like the realness is not there anymore like it used to be. So I'm glad I came out at a time like that because
you got real fans.
I got real dedicated fans who will argue with anybody that I'm top 5.
Like I said, I agree. Back then you'd have to, if you were rapping about certain things, people would even check you back then. Fights would happen, shootouts would happen, things would happen. Because if you're going to be talking all that gangster shit, better be tapped in with gangster people. Unfortunately, now in today's time, I mean, you can look at it both ways. At the end of the day, it's entertainment. Only in hip-hop do we really have this problem of, you have to be authentic. I mean, in country and all these other genres, people can sing and rap about whatever, sing about whatever the hell they want to sing about, even if it's not real, and people will still listen to it. So, I don't know. There's other ways. But I liked, hey, is this guy actually who he says in his music? Okay. Once Rick Ross got away with what he got away with, stealing someone's whole identity and just kind of presenting himself as somebody different than what he actually is, at that point, to me, it felt like hip-hop just kind of was a joke. Anybody could come in and say whatever and do whatever without no proof of any history of anything. Because think about this, right? Quote-unquote gangster rappers, the ones that were actually gangsters, they never really had to say they were gangsters. Besides the music, obviously. But in interviews, it's usually other people telling stories of things that happened with that guy. Like for 50, Bang'em Smurf, Yayo, a bunch of Queens people. I mean, you got a Bimmy. You got a bunch of people from Queens that would say that's already 3 people off the top. I can't think of it off the top of my head, a lot of other people. But Jam Master Jay, whatever. Speaking of Russell Simmons, he said stories about stuff. Lots of people that would just speak on stories of 50 doing all kinds of gangster stuff. Jay-Z, you would hear Jay-Z stories, stabbing this person, selling bricks to this person, doing that. So the people that are actually, in the streets, you'll hear stories from other people about them. But I I hope you guys can link me to something when you guys are watching this and hearing this. Never heard a story about William Roberts doing anything gangsta ever in his life. Never heard a story about it. Never. Not one. And I'm not even saying that I don't want this to come off as me hating. I just have never heard a story. Nobody speak on William Roberts' past and if he's actually this big Port of Miami drug dealer that he came out to be, and never heard a single story of that. Either he did his crime so well that nobody's ever known he did his crime, or it's fabricated. So I don't know. But I agree with Boosie. It's if he would have came out at a different time, I don't think it would have been appreciated as much. So yeah, shout out to him.